Thank you for that nice introduction. And I'm honored to be here along with Carlos. Before I start, I would like to recognize county staff, along with our director, Miss Alberta Blair. So we do have some staff here. And without that, this project is not possible. Also, I want to recognize the former county staff. Thank you for being here. Also, before I start, who has worked on this project? Just want to recognize your contribution for the success of this project. Anyone from the room? Okay, both with Jacobs. So with that, we are here to talk about the Medical District Drive from 35 to Southwestern Medical Avenue. This is one of the key projects that was selected as part of our third call for projects. So here is the agenda for today. We are going to recognize all the project partners. We'll talk about the overview on the Medical District Drive, design elements of note, examples of stakeholders coordination, construction, and Q&A. One of the important logo that you see next to the county is the APWA. That county got accreditation back in October 2022 with the visionary leadership by our director, Ms. Alberta Blair. And I'm really proud to be part of this amazing team. So thank you, Ms. Blair. Elements of successful partnering. Now, some of you may say, here county is talking about partnering again. But let me say this. This is something that I would like to recognize as that we practice what we preach. And this is a project that is a great opportunity to practice because it's a long time coming to get together. So partnering is a voluntary setup, working relationship that facilitates a team approach. And remember, partnering requires two. It doesn't work with one. So you have to make sure that the partner is partnering, but partnering ultimately provides the open communication and proactively addresses all the issues at the surface that also provides the common ground and at the same time avoids all the writing letters in the other adversarial pursuits.
Hola, I'm Dr. Elba Garcia, Dallas County Commissioner for District 4. Dallas County Medical District Drive project represents a critical improvement of regional significance connecting the Southwestern Medical District campuses with the I-35 corridor. This road is a gateway to the medical district, which is bordered by West Mockingbird Lane, Medical District Drive, Stemmons Freeway, I-35, and Maple Avenue. It covers more than 1,000 acres and includes a medical complex that employs a workforce of approximately 37,000 people. Its medical facilities attract more than 2.9 million patient visits a year to its clinics and hospitals, providing services from pediatric preventive care to geriatric services, from life-saving emergency care to heart transplants. As the largest medical district in North Texas, the Southwestern Medical District Board understands the positive impact this project will have for patients, employees, and area residents, especially with the expansive growth in Dallas County. A very complex project that included the need to preserve and maintain TRE, freight rail operations, access for emergency vehicles, access to hospital parking garages, and adjoining businesses as well. I also continue to be very supportive of the Texas Tree Foundation and their ongoing planning and design of the Harry Hines Green Spine project, addressing multimodal connectivity improvements that allow the safe, comfortable passage of automobiles, public transit, bicycles, pedestrians, while enhancing the environmental features of the district, adding green space to our community as well. Thank you to the organizations, agencies, contractors, and of course, our Dallas County Public Works Director, Ms. Alberta Blair, and her fabulous staff who have shepherded this project since its inception. Together, we're all making a positive impact in the lives of our residents and visitors. This project will provide a distinctive gateway entrance to the Southwestern Medical District for years to come. We hope to have it completed by the end of this year. So with that, let's continue to work forward y adelante. Muchísimas gracias.
And thanks. And thanks for the great leadership from Commissioner Dr. Elba Garcia over District 4. The next message is from our director, Ms. Alberta Blair. Let's get that. Okay. Just to provide a project overview and history. Medical District Drive project was part of the county's third call for project from 31 cities with the county. This project is from 35 Frontage Road to Southwestern Medical Avenue. These three segments are, as you can see, section 1 was from Maple to Harry Hines. That segment, in fact, got into limelight during the construction of the new Parkland Hospital. So that opened up in 2010. Then section 2 from 2010 to around 2013-14 was under construction and completed around 2013-14 between Harry Hines to Southwestern Medical Avenue. But this third segment was critical for the entire stretch because of the TRE bridges was really the bottleneck, and it required a great coordination with all the stakeholders. And that's why the complete street vision included the multimodal facility that included the vehicular, pedestrian, and bicycle traffic, as well as access to Trinity Railway Express commuter service from Dallas to Fort Worth. And this is actually considered a gateway structure to Medical District Drive. The existing condition included 4-lane, 4 through-lane, wide medians, limited sidewalk, pedestrian incidences within the corridor that was reported by all the stakeholders that required the enhanced safety throughout the corridor. The flooding was also occurring right below the TRE bridges. And at the same time, there was the substandard vertical clearance under the bridges that require to open up, and the TRE bridges had to be replaced. And at the same time, limited sight distance and visibility. So here is the existing conditions. 2 lanes in each direction that was failing per the design guidelines of 2045. No bicycle and pedestrian accommodations. Unsatisfactory roadway geometrics for major collector. All the existing trees also block the visibility. And as I mentioned earlier, inadequate vertical clearance at the TRE bridge. So again, the overall project was provided funding because of to alleviate the flooding under the TRA bridges. So back in 2012, Southwestern Medical District approached the COG to secure the construction funding to alleviate the flooding at this important juncture. Uh, this is the overall map that you are seeing. Uh, Ultimately, the outfall had to be improved all the way through the Trinity River. However, there were a couple of projects that we were closely working with the Children Medical Center that we were able to only improve up to their proton therapy center, which is just north of the 35 within the CMC property. However, the rest of the project from the north of 35 to south of 35 to the Trinity River will be part of the future inventory to be improved by the city of Dallas. The project goals, overall project goals includes the expansion of the 4-lane divided to the 6 through lane, the turn lane, the enhanced sidewalk, bike trail, the landscape buffer, and everything has to be the TDLR compliant. Ultimately, we want to make sure we wanted to make sure that we maintain the safe, reliable, and efficient mobility for all modes of transportation. As I mentioned earlier, COG approached the TechStart to secure the funding. So because of the federal funding, it had to meet the AASHTO and the MUTCD design guidelines. Here is the roadway typical section. So the original roadway section had a 10-foot hike and bike trail. However, due to the number of driveways on the project that FHWA was very much concerned about to provide the bicycle lane in the parkway. And therefore, ultimately, we decided after 6 months of iteration, going back and forth with all the stakeholders involved and agency partners to settle on the final typical section with on-street bicycle. And that was with the 2 feet buffer that we were able to provide between the bicycle lane and the travel lane. Majority of all the travel lane, so that is 12 feet wide. However, under the bridge, we were able to only support 11 foot wide because of the tight right of way. That was a nice fly-through was done by Jacobs during the design. And this really helped us to get the word across to all the Southwestern Medical District, all the hospital districts, that Commissioner Dr. Elba Garcia and Ms. Blair was there to present and update the board to secure the funding as well as to relay the entire scope and the vision of the project. So here are the project partners. As you can see, we have TechStart, DART, TRE, NCD COG, Dallas Water Utilities, and FHWA. The entire hospital districts, I really want to appreciate their continuous support. And the design consultant, of course, Jacobs, and our contractor, Structural Assurance. Project partners. As we talk about partnering at Dallas County, what do we do to live up to that partnering? So at the design kickoff, we have this charter statement that we come up with the overall project goals and the accountability that we make sure through our task force meeting that all agency partners and the stakeholders come through based on what they talk about. So that's how we resolve the issue going from task force meeting and to the next task force meeting. And also in some of these task force meeting, all the elected officials are also stay in attendance. So that's at the design, and we repeat the same at the construction conference, especially at the pre-construction conference, to set the theme of the project and invite all the stakeholders. Interagency coordination. One of the most important item in this interagency coordination, as you can see, is the deal points. And the deal points are the roles and responsibilities defined upfront for each agency and stakeholders. And these roles and responsibilities not only help to continue with the interagency coordination, but also helps us to secure the bilateral agreements later on. And I'll talk about the agreements later. The monthly task force meeting, the public meeting, and weekly construction meeting really helps us to stay on track with the project. Different agencies have different items to resolve throughout this task force meeting, especially in the design. And we work with one-on-one, also have the partnering meeting with them and understand their issue upfront to resolve in timely manner. The other item, as I mentioned, that this is a federally funded project, and TechStart is the key member because TechStart through LGPP process, which is the local project program that TechStart trains each and every local agency, especially when the project is led by local. That is so critical for all of us to be trained under that program, because that program really gives us all the tools, especially to understand the Buy America requirement and any other federal funding requirement that we have to be in compliant throughout the project. Because worst thing could happen is that if we miss any of those checklists at the end, that local agency may not get reimbursed the federal dollars. So that is so critical. And I just want to applaud TechStart handling this training greatly. And you just have to remember that every 3 years you need that training to be renewed. The most critical partner, or one of the most critical partners, also is Trinity Railway Express. The staff of TRE and DART really helped us to get the consensus on the project bilateral agreement early in the project. Without this agreement and securing all the funding that they need in order for our contractor to start the project, this would not have been possible for us to keep the project on track. Because even before our roadway contractor got on board, we had to have all the pre-construction activities to be done by TRE, and we were able to secure all the funding through TechStart as part of the pre-construction notice. And TechStart really worked with us, and all the turnouts and switches and signal work was done in timely manner. So just want to appreciate TRE. Anyone is here from TRE? I see one of the former employees with DART and TRE, but just want to thank them. So, Southwestern Medical District, all the staff, especially Mr. Bob Prejan, who was instrumental to bring in all the coordination through from all the hospital districts, and keeping us in the loop. As this project really fits into the master plan vision of the Southwestern Medical District. Children Medical Center, they are the pretty much the neighbor on this project. They were highly impacted. However, they worked with us and continue to work with us to get this project completed. Project funding. As I mentioned earlier, that NCD COG was instrumental to confirm the overall funding for construction. And TechStart, who we got into agreement with to secure that funding. Overall, the funding structure included 80-10-10, which is 80% federal, 10% county, and 10% city of Dallas. And the bilateral agreements I'll mention in the next few slides. Here is the overall cost breakdown. We continue to have our agreement amendment as we move forward and complete the project, because there has been significant cost increases because of the foundation situation and the other conflicts, unforeseen conflicts with the utilities. Here are the agreements. So there are 5 bilateral agreements which started with the county having the AFA with TechStart that secured the federal funding. The next funding was to have the project specific agreement with the city of Dallas to secure that 10%, as I mentioned. Thereafter, the city had to secure the licensing agreement with DART and TRE to be within the right of way, and also identify the maintenance responsibility after the project is completed. The next was the agreement between the county and DART TRE for county to lead the project and construct the project within the TRE right of way. So we had to have our agreement construction only. On the top of that, we had to specify in the contract documents, the right of entry for our contractor to secure and provide all the liability insurance to TRE before our contractor commenced the construction. The next was the agreement between the city and the stakeholders, which is Southwestern Medical District. That really helped to secure the landscape agreement after the project is completed and warranty expires. Then Southwestern Medical District will take over that maintenance in perpetuity. And on the top of that, all the franchise utilities agreements that had to be reimbursed when the franchise utilities, they have their facility within either right of way and or I'm sorry, only when it's in their easement, that's when we had to reimburse them for the relocation. So next, I'm going to hand over to Carlos.
Thank you, Tushar. I want to take a minute just to thank Dallas County for giving Jacobs an opportunity to work on this great project. I've been working on it since 2014 when I was brought on to help with this issue that you see here, railroad coordination. I also want to thank my fellow board members for allowing me this opportunity to come up here. So I'm going to get into it here. So the TRE Railroad Bridge was one of the main pinch points of this section of the roadway. It currently, as you see it there, and how it operates today, is it has commuter rail service Monday through Saturday. They don't run on Sundays, but it also includes aspects or Amtrak and UPRR and BNSF traffic when they need to come through from Fort Worth to Dallas. So this is a heavily used line. Very early on in the process, TRE had envisioned that Dallas County would provide a shoe fly track and bridge at this location. When we got on and we started studying this location, we noticed that just west of here, over 35, TRE was running a single track. So we said to TRE, hey, can we offer you an alternative to constructing a shoe fly and bridge and possibly save some project cost on the project? I'll show you in the next few slides how we proposed that and how we saved some money on the project back in 2014. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge, of course, our friends at TRE for helping expedite the Exhibit A reviews. If any of you have ever worked with railroads, and maybe a show of hands, I've worked with railroads a lot. Yes, thank you. You would be surprised that once we got the Exhibit A's turned in, we were able to meet with them, get all of their comments resolved, and get Exhibit A's approved within weeks, not months and not years, but weeks. So we really appreciate them. We appreciate them for helping us to expedite these items. So moving on. So here is a plan view of the rail service as we had it. What we proposed was to put temporary shoring in the red lines that you see on the screen and run single track operations while we constructed the new bridge on the opposite side. So as you watch the screen, you'll see me flip through. We'll do one side and then we'll put temporary shoring, which is the red line there, and we'll move the traffic over to the other side. This allowed us to manage the work in a much cleaner way. Of course, these were older bridges constructed by UPRR back in the 60s and 70s. They did have some lead paint on them, and later we discovered that underneath the ballast, we did have some items that did have asbestos, but only found that out during the construction. But by going through this phase construction work, we were able to save the project $1.1 million. Now, of course, that was 2014 dollars. You can imagine in today's dollars, it would be a bit more. I'm gonna, in the next slide, I'm gonna show you how the bridge got removed using the same single track operations. Now, a bit of a warning, it's gonna go really quickly. So if you blink, you're gonna miss it. So here we go. Oh, it's not going as fast as I'd hoped. Before they had to remove the bridge, they had to remediate the bearings, and then whoop, there it went. In one night, they were able to use SPMTs to remove one side of the bridge. Okay, and oops, going back one slide. And here you'll see that they're, in fact, installing the new bridges. You can see the new bridge in the background on one side, and installing the new bridge there using the same SPMTs. Those are self-propelled modular transports, in case anybody doesn't know what SPMT is. Okay, so moving on to, there were several things that our other project partners helped us with and we helped them with. So one of them was the CMC. They stepped up and they told us, hey, we like what we're doing on this project, but we want to participate a bit more and build a part of the sidewalk that's adjacent to our land. So we want people to feel a little bit safer when they're walking through our area. So we said, okay, we're listening. What do you want to do? And they said, well, we'd like to propose a different alignment for the sidewalk that would go into their land and that they would maintain and get all the appropriate permits through the city. And we said, okay, let's do that. And this is what it wound up looking like. There's their new alignment. It saved several trees, and it built a slightly, what they called a slightly safer roadway. And here's what it looks like today. It's 95% complete. Just need to put in the grass. Like another example, sodding. Yes. Another example was CMC had wanted to build out the remainder of their driveway that we call Children's Way. It doesn't have a formal name with the city yet, but we're calling it Children's Way. They had built their side up to their right of way, and they said, hey, can we go ahead and build the remainder of this section that you see in the light gray so that we can tie in and put in some temporary traffic cones? And we said, sure. So you can see in the photo on the right that they had put in some pavement markings where the arrows are pointing to the left. And we said, well, you're going to have to take those out and have them point to the right, because in the temporary condition, the traffic's actually going to be moving in that direction. So it's a bit of MOT, a bit of restriping, and they were able to get their driveway completed earlier and operational so that they can get people, patients, doctors into children's medical in a more timely fashion. Here you'll see the construction camera that we had installed as part of the project. It's running through. I meant to give a warning. It usually blinks with dark and light, but it's going fairly slow. But I want to show you some of the features that you'll see here. Over to the right, you'll see an Encore pole. Oh, there it goes. Is it going quicker? Okay, it is going quicker over there. So it's going fairly quickly. Encore got put in early. Then we got the bridge construction that's happening. There goes the billboard. It got relocated, and the roadway is coming along nicely. For the sake of time, I can't run through the whole thing, but know that we did have construction cameras available to us, and this helped us, especially through this construction. Okay, so some of the construction challenges that we had, anybody here from Encore? No, so I can speak freely. Thank you. So one of the first challenges we had, of course, we had coordinated a lot. Dallas County had coordinated a lot with all of its project partners, including all the utilities. Encore being the largest one. There's an Amelia substation right in the area. Unfortunately, Encore didn't mention that they had a high voltage project that was going to happen about the same time. So right about the time we started construction, they started drilling a big drill shaft, and we said, where's that going? And I'll show you where it went later, but just know that it wasn't in the best place possible. Of course, there were other issues that kind of challenged us during the project. Those included multiple winter storms, COVID, if anybody's heard of that. And of course, there was other redesigns that we had to accommodate along the way. Okay, so speaking of which, here, if you look straight forward, you'll see a pier that holds the existing pedestrian bridge, and here is where that pole wound up. It wound up right in the alignment of one of our culverts, so we had to quickly redesign the culvert and come up with another, design on the fly, if you will. Winter storms, we had two of them during our time on this project, one that lasted all of 2 weeks. I think we all experienced that one. It was a lot of fun, kind of blanketed the whole state. Utilities, there were a lot of them. Tushar. And they were everywhere. So wherever we dug a hole, there was a utility.
Yeah, I just wanted to take this opportunity, how important is to coordinate through the utilities throughout the project development. And you all know, as you have been involved in so many projects, one of the key items that I wanted to mention here is that the SUE information is always critical. Sometimes we see that let's skip certain areas to save funding, but trust me, there are certain unknown utilities out there that maybe utility companies, they don't even have records of it. So you might as well, if it's affordable, to get the extensive SUE done. The other thing, the other item is to um, make sure that after all the SUE information is completed, it has to be overlaid into your design. And on the top of that, once it gets overlay, uh, don't quit on your supervision out in the field, because while you are overlaying some other new utilities out on the ground, they are trying to install those. And you may not have records by the time you end up bidding the project. So our inspection staff was already out there on the ground. We were able to stop even 3 or 4 utilities putting the new facility during our bidding process. So there are many items that we coordinated with all the utilities, and our county's public works team. We do have a specialized utility team who really gets into the monthly coordination meeting, quarterly partnering meeting, and on the top of that, the annual award breakfast that we organize for all the utilities. And ultimately, when they win the award, we request our commissioners court to even award the resolution. So it just takes that partnering a long way, because you are not setting up a partnering for only one project. It's a relationship. It just continues and continue to get better. So this is a wrap up, the overall project results. So Medical District Drive was raised out of the floodplain, and that was the major item that we went in for, based on the federal funding requirement. The visibility and side triangles have tremendously improved. If you have driven that roadway recently, that 1,300 foot of roadway has made a major impact, especially for all the emergency vehicles out there, and the entire hospital district is truly a gateway. The additional storage capacity was provided for the project, especially for the drainage, because it's a bottleneck currently until the city finalized the outfall tie-in to the Trinity River. The new intersection, T intersection, is tremendously helping the CMC to conduct their daily operation. The Trinity Express tracks were relocated to 20-foot spacing between tracks. So that was a major improvement. The pedestrian connections. One of the connections that we made critical to the Trinity Strand Trail, which really connects to the trail accessing in the entire medical district, and that is part of their master plan vision. And one of the interesting fact that over 1 million pounds of structural steel were used in the through plate girder bridges. So overall, just want to thank the entire project team and the leadership at Dallas County, from Ms. Blair as well as Commissioner Dr. Elba Garcia. With that, I'm ready for any questions you have. Thank you.